Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FortressCraft Evolved. I'm AxionEvolved, and today we're back in the factory. Been a little bit, but you know what? I've been doing a little bit too, a little bit here and there, a little work on the factory. So let's just hop right into it, and I'll kind of take you on a brief tour of what's been done in between episodes. So first place of note is this area over here. So we remember the quarries, they're all running here, but what looks a little bit different is this guy right here. Now, I had been talking a bit about wanting to do like I guess a coal factory power plant, and if you look over here, well, where we were making infused coal has now moved. It was right down in here, but instead we got this little room over here. It's not a traditional room, it doesn't have a room controller or anything in it, but it kind of centralizes all of the coal. So we have a feeder line coming in over here, and if you guys remember, I had these kind of output set up right here to collect coal and whatnot, and kind of feed it over here to get into the to the coal factory here. So it kind of just distributes it out, enriches, infuses, and then outputs out that way, and we can kind of just grab that for whatever we need, right? It's got a turntable here to handle powering up the rest of the base over there, so that line's still running. And we also, I think I actually kind of did a little update here. So that's the feed line. This is going into the lab, and then this one I think is going up to where this is going into the research pod assembler, this area over here, right? And then this guy, hold on, let me close that back up. This guy is going up to the actual laboratory and all of the stuff up here, right? So there's that feed line. And then the last little feed line, let me see if I can get back down here. This guy is actually going way over here, and it's popping out right here so that we have some, like a supplement to this guy. So whenever this process runs out, this guy will just take over and continue feeding all of our smelters. So a little redundant there, but a nice little segue to kind of all this over here, right? So we kind of done some stuff here. I went through the process of kind of running some of these belts to get a good visual on how this is going to look, but this is kind of something I want to get done today, is kind of try to figure out how I can have these constantly running. So if we run down here a little bit, you see I've dug out quite a bit. I've been using the Mark II auto excavator and really kind of opening up this area, because this is where we're going to be doing a lot of work, right? So in order to kind of keep things flowing down there, I'm auto crafting some conveyors because we're going to need them. I've got, what are these, iron gears going all over the place. I've got so many iron gears, it's crazy. 2.8 thousand, right? And then of course we've got the lab stuff going in, the research pod assemblers going on in here. So one thing I've been thinking about though is this whole setup right here. I'm thinking, I'm kind of changing my mind on some of this, and I want to, this is just so bulky. If you look at it, it takes 1, 2, 3, at least 3 tiles just to kind of split all this up. But what I'm thinking about doing is doing something kind of like this, right? So again, we'll just have, you know, these are going to be 5 lines wide, right? So imagine we get to somewhere like this, right? Somewhere where we want to split out what we're doing. What I'm thinking is if we dedicate this rightmost line, or I guess, I'm sorry, the leftmost line as we're looking at it. So this one, the side closest to the research pod assembler, we can do something like this where we share everything. We share all these, but when the belts come in, right? So we'll have belt in, belt in, belt in, belt in, like this. We only have 4 belts going out, and this guy just goes that way. So in theory, at least in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but in theory, when the line going this way backs up, then this can just share back to these ones and fill out the rest of those lines. And then it doesn't take up any extra space, you know what I mean? Because we've already got a three tile gap in between. So if there's one, you know, if this is where we're going to do the split here, then this would be roughly, in fact, let's just kind of, I'm just going to throw it in. I wasn't necessarily planning on doing this right this second, but I'm going to try it right now. So let's pretend that this and this are doing that, right? Let's kind of do that. And there would normally be like an input, you know, an input, like a feed belt going in, but we don't have that yet. So now, see, so it's not going to necessarily work because I'm not feeding it anything, but I totally could do something like this, where I have, oh, what is this? So we'll share this on. We will share that. And then I'll just kind of like do one of these numbers. And we'll hook this up. We'll kind of see how it works. This, in theory, should help kind of balance that. And I know I talked about using matter movers and all that kind of stuff. And I still want to. But for now, belts are just easier. We got to get... we always got to like jumpstart this economy before we can start getting kind of crazy with it all. And there's actually like multiple economies that I'm trying to consider in this game. And number one is the production. So are we producing enough raw material? You know, that's number one. And then number two, are we building the basics fast enough? And then number three, can we build the advanced stuff? So as I see here, the problem is to really test this, we're not using this stuff fast enough. I could probably double this up actually. In one fashion and maybe do it that way, but let's kind of leave this running because I kind of want to see how it works out, because it should, in theory, this should equalize in between them. Yeah, that's how I think it kind of works. So yeah, nice. I'm just gonna let that go, and then we'll kind of see how that works out over time. But there's a reason why this guy is so long. And these lines on the floor right here, these definitely mean something. So let's go pop up to right above this and see what's going on there. And if you're pattern matching, you'll notice that we're just right over here. Hey, there's the CPH and all that. This is going to be the site of the main factory, right? And so what I want to kind of spend time doing today is moving some of this stuff, all of this basic stuff, out of here. I kind of want to get rid of all, and even some of this. Like I can set some of this up over there because I need to start thinking. There's a couple things, right? There are a couple things we need to think about when it comes to this. Number one, I'm building lots more construction pace so that I can kind of finish these walls. I didn't realize that was going to be a bottleneck. Turns out it kind of is. But what these are doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think these lines right here evenly split the lines we got coming in, right? And maybe I'll put a sign up here or something. So like this is tin. I know that if I'm in between these lines, I can grab tin. Over here, I know I can grab copper, and then iron, and then lithium, and so on down the line, right? Because all I want to do is just, you know, pop up from down below, pop up here into whatever machine I need, and then have the output go this way. Because I think what I'm going to do is have some kind of like, maybe get rid of this and have just like a quick collection area for all the pertinent things that I might need, right? And then things that are mostly beneficially used as parts for more advanced machines, they'll just kind of continue down the line. All right, so I figured right now would be the best time to just kind of, if I know that this is the front line of my factory, then I should start kind of plumbing things up. So what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing the center line, right? So the center of everything, getting roughly to the, well, not roughly, right to the front of the factory. And then I'm just running it up, you know? And so I'm getting it right here in the middle. I'm just poking a hole, and then I'm poking a hole, grabbing this stuff. I'm having to go up, having it run down like that, and I'm throwing a logistics hopper on there. I don't really have a good reason as to why I'm doing it that way. I just feel like it should be okay. And then it's just like an easy way to go up. In the future, depending on kind of, I guess, how things work out, I don't think these can share, right? No, they can't. So I may do the same thing as I did here. So you can see I replaced the copper, I replaced the tin with this hopper methods, because I'm going to try that out and see how that works, you know? And yeah, so I may do this same thing over here. I think if I look at the crafting ability, crafting options, I can use nano storage hoppers or small storage hoppers that I think work about the same speed as a regular storage hopper. See, transfers quickly, these transfer quickly, because I'm not necessarily trying to build a backlog right here or like a store. I'm just trying to, in this case, give it somewhere to transfer, because what I may end up having to do is, you know, build out lines here and then continue down this way to directly feed things further down the road, right? So for now, that should be okay, but let's go upstairs and start actually trying to build some things. All right, and to start, I'm gonna throw some hoppers down, and actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna close this off. Let's just pretend like we're not gonna use anything over here. Let's pretend our entrance is gonna be like in this area, because there is extra space, so we'll be able to walk in and kind of see how everything's going. And then I can put signs here that kind of say like what's doing what. Kind of nice, right? So what did I pick up? I picked up, I think, stamper plants. Or can I build some of this stuff? I know it'll tell me I already have some, right? So I'm thinking stamper plants are pretty big. We use those, well, really we use kind of everything for everything, right? So let me see. Let's do 12. And you might be thinking like, what are you going to do with all that? Well, I'm thinking that I might just kind of try to do like everything in the game type crafting, right? So if I just do something like that, and then something like that, and then once I get over here, it'll be something like that, right? Same thing over here, you know. All right, those are all in line. I can kind of just do, you know, like one of these guys. I guess I'll do a regular hopper. And then, now, so I'm going to hook this up, but I'm wondering, is this exactly how I want everything to go? You know? Let me just do something like that, and we'll just kind of bring that over, right? So right now, I'm going to have copper plates. All the copper plates in the world, right? But this is... I've also got to think about, how am I going to continue on this line, right? And I don't know if this is the best setup for this. I want to be set up to where I can have multiple kind of things per line here. So instead, what if I do this? I might have to just do this, right? And then we just go over, down. That way I'm still getting the 3 stampers per line, but if I so choose to do this, then it shouldn't be an issue, right? The only problem that comes with this, and this is something we're going to have to figure out kind of for the whole place, is what am I going to do? Because, you know, the way the hoppers, the different faces of the hoppers get prioritized for drawing out the bars is different. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I'm sure one of you guys, one of you people who have tons of experience in this game, will be able to tell me, you know, is kind of how that works. But come on now. There we go. But for now, I think I'll just kind of leave it. If this is saturated, right? So if this is all full, then everything will go down, right? Then everything will continue down the road. So I can almost think like this is the plate section. So we almost have like an x-axis and a y-axis. Or really, I guess in the game, this is the x and this is the z. But have everything in here in this section be plates, and then have the plates kind of come out here. You know, we can do like a logistics grommet or something. Yeah, I'll have to clear all that out. And then when I go out there, oh man, it could look super cool. Here, let me just give you like my vision. Right? So you almost have something like I guess 100 slot is normal, right? But 7 types, right? 7 items. And then you have a sign right up above. In fact, can I just make a sign real quick? Sign. No? I thought that was like a thing you could do. Is it self-craft? Sign? There you go, sign. 1 tin plate, right?
Crafting.
So then we would do something like this. I would, where's the sign? I would slap a sign down, right? And it would say copper plate. And just like that. And then I would do tin plate. And just like that, right? So when I'm coming over here, when I'm, spawning in, and I'll kind of dress this all up kind of nicely, I can just kind of like run over here and figure out like what am I looking at? What do I need, right? So I think that could be kind of cool. So that's kind of just like the proof of concept plan for everything. Of course, I mean, it's probably not going to be super pretty on the inside. There's going to have to be kind of a bit of, I guess, spaghetti belting to, because once we're at the, what do we got? We got like gold, titanium, nickel, right? We're gonna have to get those all over all this area and kind of distributing out. That could get kind of messy, but we can like worry about that after the fact. In fact, I should probably, I'm just gonna kind of prototype this real quick, but I can almost have it come up that way and then down. Ooh, but I can't have it run right next to this, or it'll draw plates out of there. But I also don't necessarily need that, right? I'm not going to need this right here if I'm going to just output it over here. Okay, so then what I can do is I'll just have a bunch of logistics grommets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 logistics grommets. And then I think we need a belt before we could kind of hit the hopper. And we'll just have hoppers here. I'm obviously going to dig this all out, but this is just kind of like a proof of concept. An idea. And we just line that up just like that. And then I could line that up and give myself, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe have this one be the down. That's the up. I'll put a little guy right there. And then come on. Just like that. And then again, just have all those output. This way. Just kind of like that. And let's, feed that in, build in the little bypass here. And then there's enough room for the next one to go up, right? So right now, if we were out there, we would start seeing, the 2 sets of plates. We've got copper and tin plates. I'll have this dug out next time I bring you guys. But right here. So boom, copper plates, tin plates, and then I'll just put a sign up here about what is what. You know, we do that right now. All right, copper plate. Nope. Tin plate. Just like, oh, come on now. There we go. Nice. So then we could just do that, and then a little bit farther down, you know, figure out some kind of gap. Boom, wire. Boom, coils. Boom, PCBs. Whatever, right? Whatever we might need, we can get set up. And then, so I really like this idea. I'm still gonna do this scaffolding around the area. I think, you know, I'll have some kind of stairs to come up, and so you can kind of walk around, and you know, maybe I'll have some go down the middle or whatever, so you can walk around and kind of watch the process of whatever's happening. All right, so there's only really one other thing I want to do for this episode, which is kind of mess around with how stuff is flowing from our from all this stuff. So we got a couple things going on here that I really want to address. Number one, we've got some lines here. So this iron line, this tin line, and this copper line. Those are basically mainlined into actual miners, right? So I want to make it, now that we kind of have that, I don't know what you call it, balancing setup over here with these guys, I want to make it so that everything can flow in and at least line up with something that it needs, because we're getting backups. You see the iron and all that, it's just backing up, right? So I'm honestly just gonna run all of these belts down to there, and then we'll kind of start figuring out where everything needs to kind of aim, and what's gonna run onto what, and how we're gonna take care of things. So I will meet you guys literally right over there, but with about, I don't know, 1,000 belts ran with me. All right, so got all these belts ran. I gotta say, I really like the way it looks. I think it's super cool, but we need to get all this stuff over there, right? So I think first candidate is right here. We can just kind of turn this guy thusly, and boom, we got that going. Second candidate. All right, so this is coming from the first set of, okay, so this is actually coming from if we actually get the ore, right? So this, I feel like, should maybe run, what's going on there? Right here. Yeah. Right now it's getting just kind of pumped over here. You know what? I'm actually going to do it like this. And then I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't really have anything. I don't have like a rhyme or a reason why I'm doing it that way. I'm just doing it that way for right now. And another thing I think I'm going to do is, if we get to about maybe here, I'm going to do kind of the same thing I did elsewhere and balance. Balance with hoppers. Sharing on. Sharing on. Sharing on. Sharing on. Because I feel like eventually that'll help. Maybe not for one-on-one. When there's, you know, only one set going in and one set going out, but when we have multiple lines going, it should be better. All right, so that way, and you can see this is already kind of working, right? So it looks like it's just sharing directly to its left, which will go until that fills up, and then it should cascade in either direction, I would imagine, and which will buy us a little bit of relief for there. But we also need to kind of retool this line here. So I'm thinking, rather than kind of get too crazy, I'm just going to do this. Right? I'm just going to get rid of that completely. And I'm just going to have that come over. So that's going there. This, instead of dropping down there, I'm going to have drop down here. Yeah, right there. With a turn. And then you can come right in. And then this is where it actually, if we actually hit a vein of tin, that's where this is going to come in. So we'll just connect that right up. And then we're going to do something very similar for iron. So you see the iron has a couple ways it's trying to travel. So we're going to do that. We'll do this. We'll kind of get rid of all that. And we will just bring that down. We will have, again, this overflow. We'll just have it hit the far left, or I guess the far right belt. And we'll connect that up. You are already here, so I might as well just... Oh, give me conveyor. There we go. Hook that up like that. And I can get rid of some of these belts because I went through almost 2,000 belts setting this up. So any little belts I can save are going to be kind of key until I can get that automatic belt crafter set back up. Okay, so that's okay for now. So now we've got those 3 major resources, and then lithium is just the last one really, but there's not really much going on with lithium because we don't have a dedicated line set up for it. So instead, we'll just do that. All right, so I think that's the macerator overflow we've got set up. We've got the lines from the beginning set up. Now the only other thing is to get our smelting beefed up to handle all this, but that's going to be something we handle in the next one. So thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoy how this is kind of taking place. I really do like the visual. I mean, I think this is looking very, very cool. And yeah, I hope you guys like where this factory is going. Let me know any comments or suggestions you guys have down below. And before you guys start saying mine carts, I know I've never used mine carts. I kind of want to, but they just seem so complicated. And just real quick, you can kind of see the balancing does seem to be working. The problem is we're not smelting. So that I'm going to be preparing all of that so we can kind of take care of that in the next episode, getting all the materials together. And then the only other thing I want to start doing is scouting maybe resin farm locations, because that's going to be a huge necessity, because we're going to need that for turbine power. We're going to need that for, you know, plastic and all that kind of stuff. So refined liquid resin is high on the list, and that's going to be the other way we can get more and more and more quarries, because eventually I'd love to cut these lines off. That one, and just be pure quarry sustained, right? So anyways, guys, I'm rambling now, so hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next one.